Coming up, call for room service on a homemade telephone.
Find out why your bony back is so bendy.
Put together a muscular model arm.
And the stinky truth about baked beans and farting. Only one way to find out if baked beans really make you fart, and that means eating a whole can.
I don't think I want to be around to find out what happens. Maybe I can listen in on Carrie Ann's homemade telephone.
Today is the big checkers tournament between Larissa, Jordan and me. But Jordan's missing. Let's go see where he is. Oh no! He's sick in bed. Oh well, Larissa and I will just have to play on without him. Alright, back to the checkers. Hey, was that Jordan calling out? It sounded like him. We better go and check. Jordan needs some more juice. So it was him calling out. How can we make it easier to hear him? I've got it. Let's make a telephone so Jordan can call us. Oops, almost forgot his juice. Sorry, Jordan.
Come on, Michael. Get that body moving. Phew. You're not looking too flexible, Mikey boy. Let's do some stretches. Stretch that back out. Our backs sure are bendy. Well, mine is anyway. Even though there's all that bone running up the middle, I wonder how our backs bend. Come on, Michael. Time to bone up on backbones. The secret to making a model spine is this: marshmallow. They're not for eating. Not yet, anyway. I'll cut a few marshmallows to form 5 sticky pads. These get fed onto a piece of string with a cotton reel between each one. There. This is my model spine. It just needs one more thing. A spinal cord. It's our nerve pathway to the brain, and our backbone protects it. Finished. Turn around, Michael. It bends just like we do.
Your spine is made up of 33 individual vertebrae with a spongy disc between each to keep them from rubbing together. The vertebrae can separate from each other when you want to bend. Your back muscles pull them together again when it's time to straighten up.
So, Michael, your spine is nice and bendy, but can you do this? Ta-da! Hey, where'd he go?
Dana's done a disappearing act on me too. Let's see how Carrie Ann's telephone's coming along while I finish off these beans. Uh-oh.
This old telephone is very broken, but it's gonna come in handy. Ah, thanks, Dad. Nice job. He drilled 2 holes right through this cardboard tube for us. I'd made 2 grooves down to the lead in these big pencils. Okay, poke the big pencils through the holes and wedge our sharpened half pencil between the big pencils so the leads wriggle against each other. Looking good! Let's add a power supply. The wire from one end of this battery attaches to a pencil and the other end to this length of wire. That's going to be our long telephone cable. This side of our telephone cable is connected to the other big pencil. Now we just need a speaker to hear Jordan calling us. This old one from a real telephone has 2 terminals on it. Our long cable connects to them like this. And our homemade telephone is ready to make its first call.
Yum! Baked beans on toast are the best lunch ever. Oh, gross! That's disgusting. Phew! Some boys have no manners. I wonder why beans make people fart. Let's see if we can find out. Damon and I are on a fart fact-finding mission. We're going to get to the, bottom of farting. We're each making a fart machine to see if we can imitate Damon dropping one. He's cutting up a rubber glove. Meanwhile, I'm mixing up a batch of borax laundry powder in warm water. Now for some craft glue. That should do it. A bit of water in there. Mix that together. And my slime is coming along nicely. A bit of food colouring to make it mucky coloured. Red and blue. Now to add my borax mixture. This is the secret to my slime. Damon's busy attaching his rubber glove to a length of hose pipe. That should work. If there's one thing Damon's an expert in, it's farting. Hey, check this out! The craft glue has turned into thick glue. This is going to make great fart material. I just squish some of my sloppy slime into a film canister. Hey, it works! Gross! I am disgustingly clever. Let's hear yours, Damon. What a ripper! That sounds like Damon after a whole can of beans.
The gas inside our digestive system comes from three main sources. We swallow air as we're eating, digestion produces gas in our stomach, and bacteria living in our intestines produce gas as they help to process our food. The sound that farts make is caused by vibration of the opening in our bottoms as the gas is expelled under pressure. Some foods, such as baked beans, contain sugars that us humans can't digest, but the bacteria in our intestines really like. As they feast on the sugars, the bacteria make an extra big batch of gas for us to squeeze out.
So we can blame beans for making us fart. And Damon can blame his belly bacteria for that awful smell.
Hey Dana, those beans really are giving me wind.
Oh, Taryn, yuck! That's a lot of wind, all right. Nearly enough to blow Saif along in his sailing boat.
I love sailing in my father's boat. There's nothing better than feeling the wind in the sail. With a good breeze, I can sail as fast as anyone. I'd like to build my own boat. Then I could sail away and explore the oceans. If I'm going to build a boat one day, I'd better start practicing. I think I'll start with a raft of corks. I'll tie lots of corks to these wooden sticks. It's just like making a real raft, only smaller. Now for a sail. This sheet of card will catch the wind. That can poke into the middle of the raft. There, ready to hit the high seas. Let's see how she sails. There's some wind blowing down at the water's edge. Yay! Off you go, little boat.
For centuries, people have been harnessing wind energy and putting it to use doing everything from pumping water to grinding flour. These days, we're even turning wind energy into electricity. Hoisting a sail is a great way of capturing wind energy and using it to move a heavy boat across the water. The greater the area of a sail, the more energy it captures and the faster the boat goes.
My very first boat, and it's a beauty. Now I just need to build one big enough to carry me.
Ice blocks. These are delicious. I could eat another one. But Mum said keep our hands out of the freezer until tomorrow. What if something else picked up more ice blocks for us? We can't get into trouble for that. And these sticks are going to do our dirty work. We're going to build a model arm. And these are the bones. Okay, a little cut in the end. Now another one at an angle on the side. There, 2 cuts. Now on the second stick, I make 2 little cuts at one end. Like this. Now take a small elastic band and join the 2 sticks together. Join the notched end of the first stick to the unnotched end of the second. Now bend. And use another small elastic band to join the sticks from the other angle. You get a crisscross of elastic band like this. There. This is the elbow joint on our arm. Time to give it some muscles. Take a long elastic band and attach one end here inside the elbow and stretch it out to join on the other end of the arm. Now stretch a second elastic band from the elbow to the outside of the arm. There! We are armed.
Jade's clever model arm shows how the human arm really works. The bone in our upper arm is called the humerus. Running down the back of the humerus is a muscle called the triceps, which gives you the power to straighten your arm. At the front of the humerus is the biceps muscle. It gives you the power to bend your arm. When your brain tells your arm to move, the relevant muscles quickly fill with blood, which makes them contract and pull on the bones.
Okay, time to put my plan into action. Look, Mum, no hands. Well, not in the freezer anyway. I know that was a bit naughty, but I don't think we did any real arm.
Those two sneaks got away with a second ice block thanks to their clever contraption.
Jordan's about to use another clever contraption to get exactly what he wants too.
Time to install our homemade telephone. Jordan's gonna love this. First, a quick lesson on how to work it. Okay, put the speaking end near Jordan's bed and we'll take the cable back outside with us. Now back to our game of checkers. What's that clicking? Oh, it must be Jordan calling. Yes? Yes? He wants orange juice. Our helpline is working. 1 glass of juice.
When Jordan clicks his fingers, the sound vibrations are picked up by the small pencil. When it vibrates, it momentarily breaks the flow of electricity through the circuit. The speaker at the girls' end turns the interruptions back into sound vibration for the girls to hear.
Finally, back to the checkers. Oh dear, he's calling again. What? A chocolate milkshake and donuts? I think it's time we disconnected this phone for good.
What's that, Jordan? And now you want me to bring you a pizza?
We can't make a pizza, Taryn. We're in the middle of a show.
Jordan says we've reached the end of the show. And hold the anchovies.
See you next time.
Coming up, build a wind-powered bird scarer and win the battle of the backyard.
Find out which colour shades are easiest on the eyes.
How to handle a flat tyre with an emergency bike pump.
And are you feeding an army of microscopic dust mites?
Ew, they look disgusting. I'm sure I'm not feeding any dust mites.
Oh, I think you may have a bit of a surprise coming, Dana. But first, Zach has a problem with pests of another kind. Hungry birds.
Laura and I are planting some tomatoes into the veggie patch. Dig a little hole, loosen up the seedling in the pot, and carefully place it in the ground. There, that'll give us lots of tasty tomatoes. As long as those pesky birds don't eat them all.
Those birds sure are cheeky.
There you go, little plant. Time for you to turn out the tomatoes. Oh no! Birds everywhere. They're just waiting to steal my tomatoes. Right, take off, you thieving pirates. Hey, the wind is blowing, I'm just washing around. And the birds don't like the movement at all. That's given me an idea. Why don't we build a wind-powered bird scarer?
Good idea, Zachy boy.
We're off to Carrie Ann's house to get ready for a party. Whoa, that sun is bright. And it's a long walk down to the beach. This white sand is so glary. Time to make some emergency sunglasses. I'll make goggles out of this egg carton. Carrie Ann is cutting out some coloured lenses from that cellophane wrapping paper. Groovy green, man. Those will be cool. Here's the frame for one pair. I'll cut out the eye holes. Hey, mellow yellow. We just press our lenses into the frames, add a little string to keep them in place, and we are good to go. Moon goggle party glasses. Let's see how they cope with the glare on the sand. Bright sunlight is blinding through these yellow lenses. Let's do a swap. On with the groovy green goggles. Hey, with the green lenses, the beast looks much less bright.
The sun's white light is actually made up of a whole spectrum of coloured lights mixed together. Our eyes find green lenses the most comfortable on bright days because green blocks out more of the light spectrum colours that we find hard on our eyes. On a dull day, yellow lenses can improve visibility because they're good at blocking blue light out of the spectrum. Blue light is particularly reflective and scatters as it bounces off objects, causing glare.
Well, our party glasses are ready. Wish we could say the same for our party lunch.
Hey, these glasses are groovy. I think they're going to become the fashion.
We may be waiting a long time for those to come into fashion. Better go see how Zach's windmill's coming along while we wait.
I'm building a bird-scaring windmill to protect my mini farm. The first step is to make the part that turns in the wind. We'll need to cut this balsa wood into strips the same size. Mark 8 pieces the length of a ruler and cut them off. There, 8 fan blades. Next, we cut out a big cardboard circle, like this. Divide it into 8 even slices of pie with a ruler. And make a cut where each line reaches the edge of the circle. Now put the 8 blades into the cuts. Bend them at an angle and hold them in place with tape. Check it out! See how all the blades are at the same angle? We made a hole in the middle to put a wooden rod through. That gets held in place by 2 little pieces of cork. We've made a bamboo tower to hold the blades. It looks like the Eiffel Tower. Well, sort of. What a spin! Hey, nice touch, Lara. A flag for the top. And our windmill is almost ready to go to work.
Looks like Mum and Dad had lots of wine at their party last night. Someone threw all these corks in the pool. What a mess those silly adults made. We could make something with all these corks. Hey, Ashley, want to make cork boats and race them across the pool? Take a few corks and feed them onto a wooden skewer. Once you have 3 corks on the skewer, it's time to add a mast. We're using long sewing needles. Poke one into the front cork. Now, instead of wind power, we're making magnet power sails. Stick a paper clip onto the front of the sail, like this. Then attach it to the mast. There! One super sleek ocean racing yacht. One last thing to make. This is a powerful magnet. I'm using modelling clay to attach it to the end of a long wooden rod. One more and we're ready to race. Okay, Ashley, you're not allowed to touch the boat. Yeah, it's working! This is fun! Who needs wind when you have magnet races?
The force that is moving the boats is not coming from the magnets or the wind, but from the girls. Magnetic attraction draws the paperclip towards the rod. However, it's the moving of the rod that is really pulling the boats along.
Well, we know our boats can race, but can they survive a wild storm at sea?
I wouldn't like to be a sailor on board one of those boats in a storm. Oh, I think I'd be sick.
Speaking of sick, something's making Nicole sick and sneezy. Achoo!
Yuck! Zach makes so much mess. Achoo! It's dusty in here too. I don't know how he lives like this. I'm gonna make an airborne dust collector and show Zach how filthy he is. I've cut out a tag shape from a sheet of card. Poke a hole in the top and stick some tape across the rectangular gap. You end up with a nice sticky surface like this. Attach a piece of string and the air junk detector is ready to hang out. Let's see how dirty the air is outside. I've made another one to stick near filthy old Zach. And let's test the air in the kitchen too. I left my dust collectors hanging for a whole day. Let's see what they can tell us. Outside here, we've definitely caught some dust particles. Looks like tiny specks of dirt. And inside Zach's dusty dungeon, yuck! This dust collector is filthy. And it's not just specks of dirt on this one. Now let's check the kitchen. Not too bad. A bit of dust, but not as bad as next to Zach. At least the kitchen is clean.
Even in a clean house, there are always dust particles floating in the air. Dust is mainly made up of disintegrated fabric fibres, plant pollen, and tiny flakes of human skin. Wherever there is dust, microscopic dust mites can be found. They eat human skin flakes and also cause allergic reactions in many people.
Well, I think I found the dustiest place in the house. Zach is definitely a dust mite's dream.
Kimberly and I are looking for wildlife in the forest. We want to take some pictures of animals for a photographic exhibition. Here, wild animals. We won't hurt you. Uh-oh. There's something wrong with my bike. I think it's the front tire. Yep, completely flat. And I forgot to bring the bike pump. But that's nothing an intrepid wildlife photographer can't handle. Hey, no pictures please, Kim. This is serious. I'll cut a length out of this spare inner tube. This is going to make an emergency tire pump. Have you got a spare film canister, Kimberly? Perfect. Hold the inner tube and I'll squish it into this end. Make sure the solid end is on the outside. Now you put another one in that end. That's good. 2 film canisters with a rubber hose between them. If I make a hole in this end with scissors, it puffs air when you squeeze the rubber hose. Let's tape up the joints to make it stronger. Take a picture of this wild animal. The hose fitting screws into the bottom canister like this. And I'll make a hole in the side of the top canister. Now when I pump, air is drawn into the hole and blown out of the tube. Clever, huh? Now for the big test. A few pumps like this. And yes, it's inflating.
Just like a real bicycle pump, Fraser's clever emergency pump works by compressing air inside and forcing it into the tyre. Air is drawn in at the hole in the canister. Fraser can stop the air from escaping and build up air pressure by covering the hole. When the air pressure is greater inside the pump than in the tyre, air will move into the tyre.
Well, we didn't get around to photographing any wild animals. But who needs them when you can photograph a brilliant inventor?
Quite right, Fraser. You know, this show is full of brilliant inventors. Zach's one of them too. He's invented a wind-powered bird scarer.
My windmill is spinning like crazy in the wind. But those annoying tomato-eating birds aren't being scared away. Hey, good idea, Lara. They won't like the sound of those bells ringing. I'll attach them to the shaft of the windmill. Thank you. A bit of trusty tape. Now the wind spins the blades, and that makes the bells ring. You're smarter than you look, Lara. Let's see how the birds are taking it. They are out of here. See ya, suckers. Gimme 5.
Nice work, Birdbusters.
Zach's windmill is harnessing the power of the wind passing over it. The angle of the blades creates high air pressure in front and low air pressure behind the blades. The high air pressure pushes the blades into the low air pressure space and so keeps the windmill turning. As the blades spin, the dial spins, which in turn rings the bells. Even hungry birds are naturally cautious about coming near moving, noisy objects.
With our windmill keeping the birds away from the veggie patch, Lara and I are free to ride on this wild windmill. Yeehaw!
Swinging around on the washing line, now that's my idea of fun in the garden.
Well, we can go have a swing right now because we've come to the end of another show.
See you next time.